just from the point of view of defence, we'd surely have some facility in this country to turn coal into oil. Shouldn't we be doing that to build up our reserves?
The argument. We have about 20 days of reserves, and we have other reserves, but they're held in the US, so they've got to come across the sea to get to Australia. So
that's funny, isn't it? That's so funny. Our reserves have to come by sea, which is going to be the problem.
And we have 6 diesel submarines, only one of which can work at the same time. They run on diesel. We have many Navy ships that require heavy fuel oils. We have machines on the ground that require diesel. Our defence is like a shag on a rock. We just don't have the energy to keep going. And that is the critical strategy in any war, is cut off the supply lines. And our supply lines are so weak. They're just a thin piece of cotton. You just cut it and we're gone. So for every reason, we should be producing far more diesel and other petroleum products in this country, as well as importing material. But we have many coalfields which are unmined, such as the Arkaringa Basin in northern South Australia. This is not good quality coal, but that's a good use for it, is to convert it into petroleum.
You've made the point, haven't you, in relation to Red Hill, of the enormous obstacles that exist in relation to sensible development in this country.
We have had a massive increase in the amount of government interference with people creating taxation dollars. Now, when Western Mining started their Kambalda nickel mine in Western Australia in 1967, they needed 3 approvals. And from discovery to production, it took 2 years. For our Roy Hill iron ore deposit in Western Australia,
Roy Hill, yes,
from discovery to production, it took 15 years, and we needed 4,950 approvals just to build the mine. So you compare that with the 60s and now. And what does that do? That actually stops entrepreneurs. That stops productivity. That has a huge army of people in local, state and federal government operating as regulators. And to show that you're a regulator and that you're doing the right thing, you slow down projects. Now, you might miss the markets. This is very difficult for small companies because small companies need to finance a project. And if you're going to have a project held up for 15 years, those people who want to finance that project, they go away. Their money's not working. They're not going to make money for a very long period of time. There are plenty of other projects elsewhere in the world. And in this country, it is the small companies that find things and the bigger companies that develop them. So we won't see the effects of these bad policies for 20 years. And by then, it'll be too late. And we just can't be in this country as a country of people weaving baskets and singing Kumbaya and pushing paper around in Canberra. We are heading for a path of economic chaos. And if you want to save the nation, then the first thing you have to do is to reduce the number of bureaucrats getting in the way of those people trying to employ others.
You say that Roy Hill, just from discovery to the time of it being allowed to proceed, took 15 years, and I think you said almost 5,000 approvals, which is extraordinary. It's interesting to compare that with Federation. Federation, from the time of the convention after the Corowa Plan, from the time of the second convention, and putting it to the convention meeting, drawing up or approving the constitution or the draft constitution, putting it to the people by way of referendums, and there had to be 2 in New South Wales, then taking it to London for the Imperial Parliament. They didn't have fast jets to take them to London. They had to go by sea. And getting it to the British Parliament, getting a late referendum through in Western Australia, the whole process of forming a country took 4 years. 4 years. and our ancestors formed this great country. And you're telling us that it took 15 years just to start Roy Hill, the wonderful project in Western Australia, which is just a terrible statement.